Hello, and welcome to all of you beautiful souls tuning in today to the Heart of the Soul podcast, Earthing Nova on YouTube. My name is Amana, and I am so happy that you're here. This is a space where we remember what it means to be wild women walking upon this earth, navigating the ebbs and flows of change, honoring each other's differences, and connecting about that which unites us. Together, we practice using our voices and the ancient ritual of storytelling, sharing our stories of birth, life, and death, and celebrating how we and they change across time. I hope that soaking in these stories will leave you feeling inspired, connected, and more alive in your own beautiful body and unique life. Today is Monday, March 20th, 2023. The spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, when the light of day and the dark of night are equal in length. I am currently in the bedroom of my tiny mobile home here in Mississippi. My kids are in the other room and hopefully will not be interrupting me today as I attempt to record this intro and outro for this special episode that I'll be publishing tomorrow on the new moon. My husband has been away for over a week, which has been both, really sweet time with my littles and also challenging. And we're definitely missing him and are excited for him to come home. It's felt different to have him away, being in Mississippi, where I don't have community and resources around of people that can support me and help tend to the children at times that I am accustomed to in Washington, but it's all good. We have survived and thrived. The bulk of this episode will be a mediumship reading that I recorded with Stella on March 5th, 2023. But I'm going to begin with some new moon messages, a little personal background, my mediumship philosophy, and some context for the reading that I'm going to share here. Tomorrow, like I said, is the new moon, the dark moon, a beautiful time to start new projects, write down ideas, plant seeds of what you may want to bring into life or to grow during this next moon cycle. I would love to do a little 2-card pull today with this deck, this herbal astrology deck. Oh no, my screen's backwards. I'm going to flip it around. Mirror my video so that I can read these cards as I'm holding it up to the screen here. Okay. So yes, this herbal astrology oracle deck from Adriana Ayales and artwork by Josephine Clerks. This is what happens when I'm trying to, hold on just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So I am feeling like doing a 2-card pull today. I feel like one for this new moon and one for the spring equinox and the continuing towards the light, because spring equinox is this equal time of light and dark as we move towards summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, where the summer solstice is the longest day of light of the year, and between now and then the time of light in each day will continue to increase every single day. So first, a little message from Spirit to me, to you, to us, to those that feel called to listen to this, especially around the time of this new moon that will be tomorrow. What message is for us now? Okay, so this first card that I pulled is Rhodiola. Wisdom. So actually, this is a new deck to me as of November. It was a birthday gift for my 40th birthday this last November. So I'm just sort of learning and getting to know this beautiful deck, but I felt called to pull it out today. I've been playing with it on my own, but haven't done any like formal readings with it. So to me, this is like, okay, so I see like the rooting here, the sustenance, like look at this like bulbous plant, right? So this is like a bulb that is in the earth. And I feel like this is speaking towards like the new moon in the darkness. And yet, look at this plant that then grows out of that. Like this bulb could be in the ground and you not even know that it's existing until the light comes in this next moon cycle and this plant grows out. And this unicorn here, oh, unicorn on this side. It's different with like this mirrored image here. To me brings that like magical playfulness. The mountains remind me to ground and be connected to the earth. And also of like, again, that like unearthing, because the mountains are created when like, you know, two plates converge against each other. And then it's like that tension and that pushing that then pushes the mountain up towards the sky. So, and the word wisdom, like this, just is this reminder to me that there's like magic and wisdom in the earth, in the ground. And my daughter is calling me right now. And, yes, that this like wisdom is always there, and that each new moon cycle is like this invitation to, I see like new moons, like as planting these seeds, as bringing the energy in. Like for me, I often feel more like outgoing social energy, sharing things out with the world with the full moon, and that new moon is a little more internal for me. And this bulb or root makes me feel that energy as well, that internal. So yeah, let this be an invitation to maybe turn inwards and access the magic and wisdom within you. Mm-hmm. All right, and now I'm gonna shuffle my deck again here and welcome a message for the spring equinox, this balanced time of light and dark. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, this would be, again, a balanced equinox of light and dark, but you are moving towards the dark. Okay. Okay, so the card that I drew is this cordyceps. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Again, it's so interesting. I know so many flowers and herbs, and both of these are ones that I'm not that familiar with. And the word is revival, and the image is this eagle, spread eagle, above these two mountain peaks. You can see the energy going from this eagle to the earth in this like star rainbow. And then these beams of light up into the cosmos, into the clouds. And there's this DNA spiral happening from roots in the earth and going up towards this eagle. So for me, this word really resonates with this revival. Like that is sort of like the energy I feel of this spring equinox and towards spring, where it's like Mother Winter is, you know, settling back like into her little den. And then spring and summer, this other energy is sort of waking up, reviving, feeling energized with the returning of the light. And this eagle is like looking up towards this, I imagine, like this sunshine above the eagle. This very regal energy, this spiral again. Spiraling just reminds me of this, like the flow of life, ebb and flow, up and down, in and out, light and dark. So yeah, welcome in the light. Remember to open your arms and invite the light into your life, the both physical sunshine light and also like the lightness and playfulness that may also return with this returning light for you. As you know, kids will be outside running around more, maybe your own children, maybe you can run around a little bit with them. And yeah, just this invitation to turn towards the light this spring equinox. Yeah, I'm having my own self-reflection of just like, I'm like, was this good enough? This card pull right now, these messages right now, as they're raw and interrupted, and yet I am just gonna trust that they are what they are, and you know, it's perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna move towards this episode, this mediumship reading that this will switch to here after I continue with this intro stuff. A little bit about who I am. I am a woman, I'm a mother, a wife, a creative. I studied sociology and also practiced as a licensed registered nurse for a number of years. I began formally studying energy work in 2012 through the structure of Reiki. I have witnessed many births and deaths over the last 15 years and now offer services to my community as a birth and death attendant, supporter, celebrant. If you've been following along recently, you may have heard me talk about being a part of Danielle Serank's Initiation 2.0, which is an advancing mediumship development course. One of our assignments was to write our philosophy of mediumship. And although like I know that mine will shift and change over time, like even I wrote it several weeks ago now, and I'm sure that if I were to write it now, I would write it a little bit differently. I even thought about like taking the time to like rewrite parts of it before I recorded this episode, but it already takes me some time to like set up with my microphone and getting my kids distracted with something else so that I can do this. So anyhow, I know that this could be more succinct and that it will shift and change over time, but I'm going to read to you what I wrote for the day of the assignment when we were invited to share our philosophies with our classmates. So I wrote, in my adult life, I have come to believe that mediumship is available to everyone, that we're all capable of communing with our loved ones, guides, and ancestors in spirit. I didn't always think this way. I grew up in a family that was not religious or spiritual and was not exposed to the concept of mediumship until just a few years ago. I did, however, have a curious soul and found myself getting involved with church groups as a way to explore and try to understand the greater presence that I felt as a young child, that I would now call the divine spirit of all that is. The first time I truly palpably felt and believed that I was communicating with a person in spirit was after my first love, Bjorn, died at the age of 26. When I witnessed his last breath and his soul leaving his body, my life changed forever. I could feel his presence surrounding me. I spoke to him often in my mind, and I received distinct messages from him through the world around me. Years later, I started investigating and studying my own intuition through meditation, oracle cards, and energy work. I began to explore my abilities to communicate with spirit and other souls that were no longer earthside. I learned, practiced, and grew for over a decade. It actually wasn't until listening to Danielle Serank's podcast, Spirit School, and doing her initiation 1.0 that I understood and was given the language by her that described what it was I was doing. I believe that mediumship is a powerful, powerful pathway to connecting with loved ones, spirit guides, ancestors, and the divine. Practicing this method of spirit communication has been transformative to my life. It is my hope that through my intuitive mediumship readings that others will feel inspired and able to explore their own unique ways of knowing and interacting with their loved ones, ancestors, and guides. So that is what I wrote. And yeah, I have a few more notes of a couple of things I want to talk about before I transition you to this reading that I did with Stella. So it's my belief that mediumship is an art unique for each person and that practices and offers this service and experience to other people. And in my mediumship development, I've got to have many practice readings with other mediums, which has been really beautiful to witness how other people work and trying on like the non-judgment of how I work and how I practice and what I focus on. You'll see that in this reading, I start with the psychic name practice where I invite the sitter in front of me to speak her name to me, and I write down her name, and then I take some time to make some notes. And then I speak to those notes. I feel that it builds a level of witnessing and it builds the energy. It ideally helps my sitter to feel seen in the right now and to build some trust between us. And then when that is complete, I move to opening up to like the souls that are present that have come to connect in that perfect moment. Trusting that spirit and the person sitting in front of me seeking this experience has chosen me to be the medium, the in-between, trusting that I'm enough, that I will bring forth messages that are most needed, even if I don't understand intellectually why these specific souls or messages are needing to come through at this time. I begin by giving what they call in the mediumship world like evidence about the soul. And just remember that like in all these readings, there are at least 3 participants, right? It's the medium that's reading, the person who has come for the reading, the sitter, and then the souls that like come through with these messages. And so it's this dynamic relationship between the 3 of us and of the sitter, like recognizing who I'm speaking to based on some evidence and information that I bring through. So I give evidence about the soul that's communicating with me until the person in front of me is clear about who I'm communicating with and that they feel connected to. And then I move from there into messages, images, invitations. I don't tend to focus on, at this time in my readings, I don't focus on names. I don't focus on cause of death unless the soul that's coming through feels like that's really important. Like they'll bring that to me. But for the most part, it doesn't feel like, for me, it's like the messages are the most important. Like that's another piece of evidence to like share with someone their cause of death or their way of dying. But for me, that's just, not something that I often focus on in readings unless I really feel called to. And how this particular reading with Stella came to fruition and became an episode was actually, so she reached out to me about support for someone in her sphere, and then that led to us doing some voice messages back and forth, and then she reached out about this mediumship reading, and then she told me about this other podcast that she listens to where they share mediumship readings and asked me if I had ever thought about doing that and if I would be interested in publishing my reading with her as an episode before we had even recorded it. And I felt all the like feels of like this like nudge to like do something, another thing that I'm afraid to do. And this like worry that I will be seen as like not enough, or like all those little like inner mean girl dialogues came through. And like, what if what if she actually doesn't enjoy the reading? What if I like fail at the reading, even though really I believe that there is no like failing. I believe in um what comes through and the divineness behind that. But yeah, so we did record this episode, like I said, on March 5th, and about a week and a half later, we recorded an episode where Stella is sharing some stories of her life and her birth story. So that will be coming later. And what else do I want to say about this? I don't know. It was a really fun reading for me. I really hope that you guys enjoy it and are able to just get some insight as to what my readings look like. And of course, they'll be different from if you've had readings with other people. They will look and sound and feel different than that because, like I said, mediumship is an art. And so we all practice in similar, perhaps, but unique ways. So before I pressed record, I first took Stella through a little exercise of balancing and presencing. So I'm going to invite you to do that here. And then I'm going to also, I don't remember if I did this before or after I pressed record. So I'm going to say it at the end of this before I stop the recording, of welcoming the spirit and ancestors and guides. And what I like to state before I move into the reading with my sitter. So wherever you are, I would invite you to, of course, if you're driving, you need to keep your eyes open and maybe modify what I'm inviting you to. But I would love to invite you to orient to your space, to the time of day, to look around the room that you're in or space that you are in, whether you're inside or outside. If you're inside, take care to look around to the back corners of your room. Notice the distance between your body and the wall behind you or the object that's behind you. Allowing your gaze to land on different things in your space, perhaps a plant, a photograph. Allow yourself to have a beat there and then gaze towards something else until you land again. I would love to invite you to feel the weight of your body, your buttock or your feet against whatever surface is beneath you, the floor, a chair, the earth. Take a moment to touch your own body, perhaps starting with your head, your face. Hold your face. Notice what sort of pressure feels good, whether less pressure or a little more pressure feels pleasurable to you. This is my body. Here I am. Moving down your arms. This is my body. Here I am. Remembering that this is the body that has been with you your whole life since you were inside your mother's womb. Feeling your body down to your feet. This is my body. Here I am. And then feeling into, imagining these tendrils or roots emerging from your being and burrowing down, down, down. Even if you're in a tall building, imagine them stretching and reaching down, down, down through the foundation of your house or apartment building or whatnot, and down into the earth, into the dirt, into the rock, into that ball of fire that is the center of this earth, that molten lava. Feel your tendrils move down. And then while keeping those roots down into the earth, also envisioning, imagining these similar tendrils reaching from your crown up towards the sky, up to the cosmos, towards the sunshine, towards the moon, towards the stars. Feel this stretch as you feel your energy go not just down, but also up. And feel into this never-ending figure of 8 of these energies that go both down and up and back again. Find a place of balance within that and feel the energy of you, your aura, and how it also moves wide to the sides, and that you have some control over that and are able to bring it in close if that feels good, or stretch it out if that feels good. I welcome spirit, ancestors, and guides. May you come through with clarity and ease, sharing your messages and love for Stella here today. Listeners of the Heart of the Soul, I hope that you enjoy witnessing and hearing and soaking in this reading that I did with this incredible, beautiful soul, Stella. I hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other side for the outro. Welcome, spirit, ancestors, and guides. May you come through with clarity and ease, sharing your messages and love for Stella here today. So, as we begin, I would love for you to state your first and middle name, and then spell your first name for me.
Okay. Well, I have many middle names.
Oh, beautiful. Share them all.
Okay. So my full name is Stella Georgina Sumto Chukwu Ngazi Chukwuka. And my first name Stella, the easiest one, Stella.
Okay. So I am just going to take a few moments to write down what comes through for me right now, and then I'll speak to these notes for you, okay? Mm. Okay. So I feel like um, there's this almost need to acknowledge that you so beautifully like take up space in the world and in like the best way possible, that it like inspires other people around you to also be able to, like, I feel like there's some people in your friends or in your family that maybe sometimes shy away from being strong in the way that you are, and your ability to hold space and take up space in your community and in life, and that you are just able to really do this so beautifully, and it inspires others to do the same. um I feel like you have, in that same way, like this ability to create like space within your home, within other places. Like, you're energetic, you just have so much protection around you from spirit, and that like shines so much through you. It feels like they're inviting you to, like, I wrote down like a soothing bath. Like, I don't know if a bath or something you already do, but so maybe it is, and this is like something they see you doing, but it almost feels like this encouragement to like really take these very intentional soothing baths with salt specifically, to just like simmer yourself in that space. And I know you're a mom, like I know that it can be so hard to create that sort of sacred space and a bath without a timeline where you're having to get out, but I feel like Spirit's really encouraging you to either do more of that or to do that if you aren't already. I feel like I've never had this come through in a reading, but it feels like, so I wrote down the word teleport. Like, I feel like you have this ability to almost like teleport in a way of, it's coming through in this way of like you can almost travel through the cosmos and time within your mind to experience these like times of like ancestors or guides or these other people in your life, and that like gives you such this, like, I'm almost like tearful like sharing this, but it feels like you have this like such a connection to like almost the past and the future. Like, you are this like really incredible energetic being with this ability to like bring the wisdom from both, like, and experience that and feel that within you and share like those gifts. That it's even hard for me to like find the language to say what I'm trying to say, but it feels like I wrote voice and talking and stories and sharing, like you. Yes, okay, yes, you have these stories within you, and some are yours and some are from the past, and some are like inspiration towards the future that you're envisioning for us, for the world. It feels like a lot of people would have resistance to this, but you have some sort of like incredibly and like inherent innate like ease with this whole process. And I feel like maybe when you were younger you had these like feelings and knowings and you didn't have the language to like express it or share it with maybe the people around you. And love, like self-love, came up when I was writing here. Just, I want to say here and now that like you are incredibly lovable. You are so loved and so held, and just I feel your team with you, and just they are loving you. They are like, look at our girl, like see how she shines, like whoa, look at her. Like, it's just so, again, I feel like I want to cry, like the love and connection, and um yeah, just they they love you. And I just want to remind you to also love you too. Uh, and there's this message about like loosening control a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it can be so challenging, and we live in this culture that like thinks that we have so much control over thing and really encourages us to like feel in control and be in control and be like, you know, the same 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. And there's this message for you to like, you know, loosen the grip a little bit and try to feel into like the flow, like allow the flow and the rhythm of your life to unfold and carry you, and like go with the currents and the waves, and allow yourself to rest when you need to rest, and don't like, you know, bump up against don't work against them, because like you have so much support here, so much support. So yeah, and I wrote here like listen to your own inner compass. I feel like it's so easy to look outside of ourselves for answers at times, and let this be a reminder that like you are so wise and you know, and perhaps, yeah, practice turning within when you have a question and letting it simmer for a little while. And if you feel the need to then like later like ask someone else, like that's okay too, and that can just bring validation. But remember that like know, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so much of that resonates so much. Like literally conversations I was just having yesterday. So that's why I'm all giddy. So yeah,
Beautiful.
feels good.
Okay. So yeah, just gonna close that space and open here to your beautiful ancestors that are like, it almost feels like there's so many here that are just like, I'm like, okay, but I can't take you all at once. Like I can only take a couple now, you know?
It's not surprising.
But I love their energy. They're so like beautiful and strong and joyful. I can't help but have this like huge, my cheeks almost are like hurting from the smiling that I'm doing, just feeling their presence here. Okay, let me focus. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So the first spirit that steps forward, it feels like a woman. She feels like a grandmother or an auntie type energy to me. This feels like on your mother's side. She comes through in these like bright colors to me. She hmm, she's sort of sharing with me like almost it feels like she had this really like she wasn't afraid of using her voice and talking, like this kind of boisterous energy. Would this make sense for what I've spoken to so far for someone that in your family?
Yeah, not grandmother or aunt quite, but she was a
Pardon?
grandmother. She wasn't a grandmother or aunt to me, but I believe I know who you're speaking of.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Well, that's all that really matters. She feels just like so like almost like she's talking so fast, and I'm trying to like slow her down a little bit to be clear with me.
Yeah.
Um, would you have like, did she like to dance or music or something like this with you? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
With me.
Um, it might just
Just
be
with
like,
everyone.
okay, okay. But that was like a part of her personality
Yeah.
and who she was, her expression.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful. Um, Have you like picked flowers or cut flowers or done something with flowers recently?
With my plants a lot. Yeah, I've been shopping for plants and
Yes, but all green ones, or like it's like she's showing me these flowers. Like anything with flowers? Is that yeah or no?
plants,
Plants.
not
Okay,
this, yeah,
okay. Not necessarily flowers, but plants. Okay.
but green, yes.
All right, all right. It feels like she's like, I don't know, like
She would say
she
flower.
okay, okay, great. It just feels like she's like with you in your daily day-to-day life sometimes, just like in these sorts of times when, yeah, when you're caring for your plants and that she's in presence with you.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just gonna sort of ask what her message is here today. Okay, so she brings me like when I ask about a message, she brings me like directly to she shows me like a pen and paper and she's like, that girl needs to like write stuff down. Like you need to like she's encouraging you to like write your like what are your clear desires? Like it's one thing to like imagine in our minds like what we want and think of possible futures and she's like write it down. Like write
Mhm.
down your desires and that will like almost like that enables her in some way or it makes it more like tangible to like write it down
Mhm.
and then have that paper on a wall or just know that you can return to that paper at some point and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like all these things that I like asked for or wished for, like they are now what's happening in my life. Like that you have
Mhm.
like this great power to manifest and that with you, writing for some reason is an important part of that.
Mhm.
So she wants to encourage you to write today.
Mhm.
And she's like, and like speaking your story, like you need to like share your story with more and more people, like far and wide. Like people need to hear your voice. Like she's
Wow.
giving me these references for like voices that resonate so much with me and like the power of the voice. Like you have this unique tone. No one else has this exact expression of voice that you have. And that it is like magic, potent, important that you
Mhm.
share your voice, you share your stories, you share your knowings. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Mhm.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. She's so fun. Okay. All right, let me see who else is here right now. Well, who else is gonna jockey for this spot right now? Okay, so I just want to acknowledge that there are like lots of ancestors here, like ones you probably don't even know existed. Like
Yeah.
they are here with us right now. And yet when I like do this thing where I'm like, okay, like who's gonna step in next? It was actually like more like a guide that steps in right now.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
ancestors are like this, you know, are giving way to this guide for you right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, she feels very um hmm. So she comes through and she's like with, you know, of course like your ancestors are also like they're connected and intertwined. Like it's not just that she's like so separate from them because I don't want to give that
Mhm.
impression either. But um she she's just like coming through with this strong message about your like trying to find the right words. Almost like this like trust in yourself and your own intuition. Like, I don't know if you have some sort of like spiritual or meditation type practice, or communing with like, actually, okay, this is becoming more clear. So she feels like, I feel like sometimes when you are talking to your ancestors, like you feel a little bit like there's some sort of barrier, although that's like not really true either. And she's almost like she's almost like this like enhancer for you. Like call upon her. She's like this purple energy to me, like this dark purple. Like she is this guide that then assists you in communicating with your ancestors. And not that you need her, but she's like this she's just like encouraging this, and like she's almost, I've never had it come through this way, so give me a moment to like find the right words to communicate this message. So it's like, I feel like it's more like she's encouraging you to tap into your own inner like abilities or ways of communication, that like if you don't try some different ways, then you won't know like what feels best to you or like what flows easiest. And just know that there's like no wrong way to do it, and like ask your ancestors for specific messages, ask them for specific signs, like they are like here, they want to like show up for you, and you have to like slow down and like notice them sometimes. Like you might be so busy in the day-to-day hustle that you don't notice them, and she's almost like just encouraging you to ask for these things, and that she is like trying to help you see them in this space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I feel like there is this man here. He feels very quiet to me. And yet, for some reason right now, it's like important for him to come through to you. It feels to me like you may have like only known him when you were really little, or maybe even not at all in like this physical embodied way. It's almost like he's just like he's showing up in this way that he is wanting you to know that like he keeps showing me like this reference of a rock. Like he is one of your ancestors, and he is like a rock for you. Like he is this solid foundation for you to lean upon, for you to almost like he's showing me like if you are ever like tearful or feeling sad, that he is like this shoulder to cry on. And he makes me feel like maybe you haven't always had this type of like elderly man figure in your life, and he is just this like huge protector, supporter, solid rock for you. And I guess I don't know any other way to say it than that.
Wow. Do you know if he would be able to identify himself give you any more?
I mean, like I said, he feels like either like a grandfather or a great grandfather. It feels like he saw you when you were like, like little. Um,
Like you said, I have so many ancestors.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sure
There's
it'll be
so many
hard
here. Like I'm trying to like names are a challenge for me, but I feel like there's like an E,
no,
like
don't
an
even try
E.
with a name.
No?
An
Okay. It feels
E?
starting with an E. Do you have a
Um, I don't know how to spell the person I was thinking of. It's either an E
Yes.
or an A.
Okay. Then it probably is him because this is also how it works. Like you're feeling his energy through me too.
I don't really know him too, which is
Yes.
interesting, but I'm gonna ask my dad.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I can't always say like why it was important for him to come through in this way to you right now, but it was important for whatever reason, and maybe it will make sense in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, is there someone specific by name that you feel like you would like to call upon today that you have not heard from?
I am curious if there's two names that come to mind.
Yeah.
Um, Nia
Yes.
and Cecilia.
Can you spell Cecilia for me?
Cecilia.
Ceci.
Lia.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I could feel Nia with me earlier. Nia, that's how you say her
Really?
name? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Um, and and yet she wasn't like one of the immediate ones that came forward. And I knew that
How
you might
could she
ask for,
be?
and yet I knew that you might ask about her. So yeah, that's sweet. So yes, she is here. Um,
Baby girl.
yes. So, ah, it's like she comes through in this really like joyful, like angelic way, and yet she's also like has this like she's like I love you, and I love my mom, and she's just not she feels sad that like her coming and going. I'm gonna cry again. Like seeing her mom and you and all the people that, love her and, loved her in the womb and we're so excited to meet her earth side. She has this, she's almost like, it's okay. Like, this is what my path was. And I love you. And she doesn't want you to be sad. And yet it's okay that you're sad. But she's like, to me, it feels like this is just like one expression for her, and that she shows me like this circling back. Like it feels like she's gonna return to her mama,
Yeah, I
you
feel
know?
that.
Like
Mm,
this wasn't the end for her
yeah,
with her mom. Like she's gonna come back. And that,
beautiful.
that she doesn't understand everything all the time and that we don't, and that is just like she's this wise. Whoa. Like she's
Yeah.
like she has peace with it and she understands why we don't hear and why we don't understand it, but where she is, like she sees and feels
Hmm.
like the peace with it, and that that she's still present with you all, and that she will return in physical form again. And
Yeah.
you'll know she'll bring you signs.
Mm, beautiful. Thank you.
Hmm. I was just kind of asking for one more message from her of like something that maybe you guys can look for as a like remembering from her, knowing that she's there with you. Um, and she keeps bringing me back to like this like deep red color, almost like the color of blood. Like she is like
Mm,
when that color comes to you unexpectedly, or maybe in a rose, or out somewhere, or in a flower, or an earring, or like that this is like her and this like mother line, this bloodline, like showing this feminine energy that like she is with you, and that like her mama is changed inside because she lived inside of her mother's womb, and she is there with you and with her. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, she's a powerhouse. Oh my
Isn't
gosh.
she the
Whoa.
sweetest thing in the world? I don't know. I feel her very powerfully. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Like she's gonna come back and she's whoa, like yes.
I love it.
Yes. Like she's an earth shaker, world changer. Okay, let me feel for Cecilia. Cecilia. Was she young when she died, Cecilia? Like I feel like I'm seeing her at like 4 or 6 years old or something like that.
Oh,
Was she
no.
older, younger?
Older, but fairly young.
Okay.
You want me to tell you?
Sure. I mean, she's
Yeah.
showing me like, these memories from when she's that age, but it doesn't mean that's when she
Well,
died,
that
but
was
that's why I ask. But yeah.
okay. Okay, it would make sense. You can carry on. She was,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like she was kind of like cheeky. Was she cheeky in personality? You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit like
yeah. They're kind of corny.
yeah, a little corny, a little cheeky. Like she would she knew what she was supposed to do, but sometimes would like stray from that at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of rebellious.
Yeah. Um she feels like, did she like to like draw or paint or art? It feels like she's showing me some sort of artistic expression.
She was a singer.
Oh, beautiful.
Singer.
Okay. A
What else is art?
singer. Hmm. Did she have a brother that's still Earthside? Okay. No?
Well, no, actually, a
No?
brother who passed, and then a sister who's still Earthside.
Sister who's still
She
Earthside.
could be with her
Okay.
brother. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I was misunderstanding that message. Yeah, perhaps she is with. Okay. Um, okay, that makes me. Um, because she was like showing me these memories like with her brother of this like companionship,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
this
they were very close.
playful and yeah, okay. Ah, how sweet. And it feels like they're, yeah, together now,
Yeah.
as well. Um, and I don't know if so does this other sister that is here, like, does she feel their presence
I'm
if
sure
you
she
speak?
does.
Yeah.
I would have to ask her, but I'm sure she does.
So it feels like she might even like play games with her sister in a way of like moving a toy in the room or like something like
Uh,
misplacing things or
I'll ask her.
yeah, it feels like there's definitely some playfulness and presence with her sister who is here, Earthside, that there's this like
I can imagine that.
yeah, just like very playful, joyful, um love obviously towards her sister. Um it feels like there's like this like a musical element. I know you said she sings, but it feels like maybe there's like a song or two that her sister really like puts on and really connects to Cecilia. I'm curious if like, yeah, you ask if they're like, and And it feels like every time that she plays that song, or if that song comes on randomly in public, like that's like her being present, like in a message form. And then when her sister like chooses to play the song, that almost like summons her if she is somewhere else, and
Yeah.
that she's like really there with her.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh. Mm. Hmm. Is there, let me see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So she feels more or less complete, but it feels like she has a message for you of like, of the, just the remembrance, the like, the groundedness. She feels like she wants to, it feels like she wants to encourage you to like, she's showing me like laying on the earth, or like
Yeah.
having your barefoot on the earth, like, you
That's
know,
literally
like,
what I was thinking.
like she's just, this is her encouragement for you, and her invitation for you is to do more of that.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah, that feels good.
yeah.
Mm.
Does this feel like an okay space to close?
Yeah, I am I able to ask one last question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See if that first spirit that came through um has any parting messages. I believe that's my mother. And I was just wondering if she had any insight to share if she comes back through about
Yes.
motherhood, about motherhood and Haven. And I'm not surprised her spirit came on as grandma because
Okay.
she would
Yes,
call
because
herself
she is grandma.
Glamma, and
Okay.
that whole
Okay.
beginning made so much sense.
Yes. Yes. You know, I
So,
never tried for her name. Will you give us her name? And names hold so much power. It will also help me to
Stella.
identify. Ah, her name is
Okay.
Stella.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, yes, let's invite her back. Mm. Oh, just ask your question. Okay, so you're asking about motherhood and your daughter, Haven. So, okay, first of all, okay, I write this and I'm like inquiring in my mind here. And then she's like doing an incredible job. Like, what's she talking about? Motherhood advice? Like, what is she talking about? Like, she doesn't need my advice. Like, look at her. Look at her daughter. She's just so wonderful and beautiful and caring and kind. And like, she's raising this incredible being. Like, you are such a wonderful mother. Stop being so hard on yourself. We all have our moments, and you have got this. And she is right there with you. Yes.
Just miss him so
Yes.
much. But I feel her all the
Yes.
time.
Oh, it's like she wants to call you her baby girl right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my baby. Like, she's like holding, like wrapping, she's showing me like wrapping her arms around you and just like kissing you. And she's just so in love. And you are an incredible mother, and you are doing a beautiful job raising her grandbaby.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, feel her around you. It's almost like she's giving me this reference of just like the palpable, like almost like, you know, when the air is thick, like almost like you will like feel her presence in like the shift of the way that the air feels around you.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes she just comes so close because she just loves you so much that she like presses. You might like, it almost like might feel like you're getting like tapped by someone, or that someone is literally like touching you, and that is like her just energy just so close to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
And
Thank you.
when you look into the sky and feel into the
Yeah.
cosmos, like she's there, and she's around, and feel that like that cosmic connection that will never be broken between you and her through the lifetimes.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Well, that's it.
What's Haven's middle name?
Beautiful.
Or does she have multiple middle names like you? Okay.
Yeah. She has a lot, but Omeka and Nea is like her main middle name.
Uh-huh.
Kosi Sochukwu, another one. She has a lot. I let many people give her a name, but
Yes.
Omeka and Nea,
Do any of them have connection to your mom? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
multiple of them.
Okay. Like I feel like she
They
like
bring it up.
inspired me to ask it. So I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Does she have any? Is she saying anything about that, or is she just bloating?
She's just like, she's feeling like almost like she's showing me as like the queen, like, oh yes, like, you know, my namesake, my names live
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Oh,
She feels
that's
honored by
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
She has her actual name, Adobe. That's like her name is Stella Adobe, and she has
Mm,
that name. Omeka Nea was after her. I got that name at her funeral,
mm,
and several of my aunts and uncles gave her a name that links back to mom. So yeah,
yeah. Oh, perfect.
that's cool that she asked. Of course.
Oh, well, thank you to you for allowing me to connect with
Wow.
your guides and ancestors and spirit
This
today.
is
Like,
Thank
whoa,
you.
you
Yeah.
and them, like, I'm like feeling this incredible energy. And I just thank
Oh,
you
I
for
love that
allowing
so
me
much.
to speak with them and for you today. And thank you for your
Mhm.
willingness and for helping make the connection, the three of us together.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. That was really, really beautiful. And um, yeah, it's none of it was a surprise. Like down to like all of them rushing in. Like it's funny because I was so deeply ingrained within Christianity for like most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got to more stricter, I guess, sects of Christianity, or I don't know the word I'm looking for. There's different backgrounds of Christian,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Okay.
denominations.
Yeah.
Many of them teach like not to connect with your ancestors, and that it's evil, it's witchcraft. And I've
Mm,
just recently, in the past 3 years, started to come out of that, and to 3, 4 years come out of that, and to kind of see the knock of the ancestors really, really, really trying to come through.
mm,
And so the block you mentioned, like a block that may be there, and I think that's what it is. And I think that's like my biggest takeaway. And someone has told me before too, like kind of like and a psychic, it's kind of like a psychic. He told me, it wasn't a reading, but he just said like that I have the ability to connect with them. So that's super reassuring to me, and I definitely want to press into that more. So I that's really, really resonating. Everything really resonated, but yeah. So thank you for opening that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you're a beautiful conduit and like being, and you just have so much to share, and such depth and ability to connect that you haven't, tapped into it all yet. So I can't wait to circle back to you a year or a few years or even just a few months from now, and like I know that you are growing in this way.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Right. Hello, beautiful ones. I hope that you enjoyed that reading, this unique, different sort of episode of The Heart of the Soul. I hope it just gave you some insight. I hope that you can have, I'm curious if you want to share what you thought of the reading. Was it what you expected? Was it not? Remember that each reading is so unique to the individual and those souls that come through. And I want to, as part of the closing, read a little part of this beautiful book, Herbal Rituals by Judith Berger. This has been one of my favorite books. I know that I've talked about it on the pod before. She goes through each month, and so I'm going to read a little part of this March chapter, beginning. She says, "From winter to green, the unseen is now seen. The uplifting cacophonous songs of the birds, the increasingly warm glow of the sun, and the sweet green smell rising like steam off the pungent earth. Wet earth, all tap on our winter shells and nudge us to break out of our winter reflections, to begin the active dance of life once again, as we watch the seed sprout and bud unfurl. Something in us leaps to begin once more, to create again, love again, and contact joy as we excitedly outdistance the dark, icy winter." Around this time of year, one can find many stories, symbols, and rituals which enact or mark spring's homecoming. The journey of the death and resurrection of the sun is honored in the Christian tradition. The Jewish Purim holiday revolves around the liberation of persecuted Jews by the wise efforts of a loyal Jewish man and his beautiful, clever niece, Esther. In pre-Christian Western Europe, the Anglo-Saxons worshipped, it's spelled E-O-S-T-R-E, Easter, the moon goddess of spring, at this time of year. Easter's sacred animal was the moon hare, so named by the Celts, who saw the shape of a hare in the moon's surface. This moon hare was said to lay eggs in honor of the goddess, encouraging her to spill out her fertile energy onto the land and to all living creatures. And so the custom of decorating eggs as a symbol of the renewal of abundance and fertility was born. Following the way of the moon hare, eggs were plunged into newly plowed fields, buried at grave sites, and given as gifts to children, all to ensure new beginnings after winter's cycle of decay and death, and to coax the goddess of spring out of her winter's sleep. Can't say enough. I love this book. And also, if you were enjoying like being in that mediumship energy, it's definitely like I feel like it's such a palpable energy, again, similar to like the birthing space or the dying space, the deathing space. Mediumship that also has this like palpable energy. And you might, if you listened to the last episode, know that I'm doing a demonstration with 2 other beautiful mediums that are in my Initiation 2.0. It's a free demonstration There were 7 spots left as of yesterday, so if you're listening to this, I'm just going to read you the little invitation to this demonstration that Amanda wrote. She says, "Hello, friends. We'd love for you to join us for an afternoon commune with Spirit, a free event hosted by Amana, Leilani, and Amanda. We are very excited to announce our gathering on 3/23/23, so that's just a few days from when this episode publishes, when Pluto, the planet of deep transformation, moves into Aquarius for the first time in over 200 years. As Pluto enters this progressive air sign, we will begin transforming and moving into a more awakened version of our true selves as we gain a deeper understanding of the power of the collective. Now, not everyone is guaranteed to receive a direct reading from Spirit, but Spirit oftentimes works in divine ways, delivering messages of hope and healing to all beings that are present for the demonstration. Thank you for your support during this exciting time of transcendence and evolution." I will put a link to register if there are still some spots. Don't wait. If you would like to join, and thank you for tuning in today to The Heart of the Soul. If you love the podcast, I would be so grateful if you would choose to subscribe, rate, review, or share the show. If you feel aligned with me and my energy, if you're wanting to unearth your wild inner knowing, birth your baby wild and free, navigate the medical system, move through grief, receive an intuitive mediumship reading, or debrief and integrate a traumatic birth experience, I work with women like you all over the world. This is absolutely my soul work to support and encourage other women from womb to tomb. In working with my clients, I've witnessed women claim their wild place and hold new boundaries with loved ones and live more fully unto themselves. I believe that women claiming their sovereignty and remembering their wild will truly transform the world. To learn more, book your free connection call, go to my website, www.birthingnova.love. I would love to connect with you. Until next time, remember to be brave, be love, be wild, be you, and be the change that you seek for yourself and for the generations to come.